Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on 10 TV Plus and here on Facebook Live. We are tracking a big winter storm coming in, of course, as we head throughout this evening and really going into tonight and tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Aaron White alongside meteorologist Mike Joyce.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's going to be an interesting time here.
Yeah.
We've been watching for a while now.
Really, we have been, and we were just a couple minutes ago looking at some of the new data been coming in, and it's really supporting this widespread heavy snow.
Yeah, and what's been interesting that we've been watching, of course, over the last several days is that slow trend north, and it's continuing a little bit, so there are indications that some of that heavier snow is going to be a little bit further north now, and you were looking at it this morning, and we've kind of updated the snowfall forecast just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. In fact, what that means now is we're fairly confident that we're looking at right around a foot of snow for anywhere south of I-70, maybe east of I-71, so if you can kind of think of like a boundary there. And then from there, anyone could really see that much, but, you know, 8 inches would be the low end.
Sure.
The very low end on this one.
Yeah, and what's also been interesting now is that the entire state, all of Ohio, is now under a winter storm warning as we're expecting that heavy snow. So we'll go ahead and dive into the forecast here. But as you're watching right now on Facebook Live and also on 10 TV Plus, if you have a question, feel free to drop that question in the comments section, and you can also send us a message as we are going to be answering your questions here going through really the next about 30 minutes. So
I can step off and take a look.
Go ahead and dive into the forecast here, and we have that 10 weather impact alert for really the rest of today through tonight, tomorrow, and going into early next week, as after the winter storm clears out, we are tracking some bitter cold temperatures here going into Monday and Tuesday, as temperatures will be falling down potentially below zero by Tuesday morning. So once we get the snow on the ground, it's going to really help to lock in these colder temperatures. And as we look at things right now, it's pretty quiet out there. We have cloudy skies across really the entire state. Zooming things out, though, we can see our storm. It's really gaining strength. It's been gathering some energy, moisture, and that's all coming together with the cold air that we have in place, as our temperatures got down close to zero last night into this morning. We dropped down to about 2 with wind chill factors down to 11 below. So there's enough cold air in place, and that's allowing for snow to be covering a large part of the country, including us here in Ohio. But notice that snow goes all the way down to Tennessee, Nashville, Memphis getting the snow. And as we zoom things out even more, you can see the scale of this storm system as it's really kicking in that moisture. You got thunderstorms down by Houston, Galveston, into parts of Louisiana. Ice, snow into Dallas, up into parts of the panhandle of Texas, some heavier snow. And this is going to all really fill in as we go through today. And once it gets closer to us, leading to a higher potential for that heavy snow, especially after midnight tonight. But the snow will start this evening. It's just going to be heavier once we get past midnight and through our Sunday morning. So here's another look at just the scale of this winter storm. Where you see pink, that indicates a winter storm warning, and that stretches from New Mexico, Texas, all the way across the country, all the way through Ohio and into New England, parts of New York City, Boston, under those winter storm warnings. And a little bit closer to home, like I said, the entire state of Ohio now under a winter storm warning. So that includes, of course, Cleveland, Columbus, and even down to Cincinnati, and really not even just the entire state of Ohio, but all of West Virginia, Kentucky under winter storm warnings, even all of Pennsylvania. So this is affecting many areas, many cities, many states, and that's going to lead to just heavy snowfall. And this is a look at just the impacts that we are expecting here across Ohio. Moderate to major impacts for most of the state from that heavier snowfall. So here's another look at the timing. We've been watching this here for the last couple of days, and so far the timing has been fairly consistent with Saturday evening. And as we go through today, again, we got the cloudy skies. Watch what happens here after 5 p.m. We start to see that snow not far away. It does start to build in. So starting to see at least some light snow during the evening hours, and it starts to become a bit more widespread when we get closer to midnight here. And then after midnight, that's when the snow really cranks up and really heavy snowfall here, even by 3 o'clock in the morning. Widespread snowfall across central and southern Ohio, at least on the moderate side. But what I want you to notice here as we go through time going into tomorrow morning, notice the color and notice the blue itself. And right now we're seeing at least some medium blue, but watch how it gets darker as we go through time. So that indicates heavy snow through the morning hours tomorrow. And still 10 a.m., noon, through the afternoon, still some heavy snow. So we got several hours of that snowfall being on the heavier side. And we could be talking about snowfall rates of 1 inch per hour, not out of the question across central and southern Ohio, and especially closer to areas further to the south where they're a little bit closer to the temperatures being a little bit warmer, and that chance that we could see some freezing rain or even sleet mixing in across far southern Ohio, but more so into Kentucky and West Virginia. So overall, this is going to be pretty much an all snow event. There could be a chance that a few of us, Jackson, Piketon, maybe to Athens, could see a brief window where we get a little changeover to a wintry mix. But otherwise, I would say it's going to be 95, probably 98% snow even for those areas. So again, all snow event. That clears out of here by about 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. And then tomorrow night, there could still be just a couple flurries, some light snow showers. Once all is said and done, this is our latest snowfall forecast. So this is an update from what we were shown the last couple of days. It hasn't really changed a lot. The biggest thing is that we're starting to see that greater chance for some heavier snow a little bit further to the north, getting closer to the I-70 corridor. So overall, 6 to 12 inches of accumulation is likely across central and southern Ohio. There will, however, be some places, especially south of I-70, possibly near the Columbus Metro, that could get closer to a foot of snowfall once all is said and done here Sunday night, Monday morning. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning to a foot of snow on the ground. You may wake up to just a couple of inches, 2 to 4, not out of the question here by Sunday morning, but by Sunday night, once it's all over, this is what we are expecting. 6 to 12 inches, a few places getting more than a foot of snowfall by Sunday night into Monday morning. And with all that snow on the ground, as I mentioned, it's going to lock us into the cold as we have a 10 weather impact alert going into the early part of next week. And notice our temperature here by Tuesday morning, 2 degrees below zero. That's actual air temperature. You factor in the wind, it could feel like it's closer to 15 below zero here going into our Tuesday morning. So some bitter cold, and it's likely that that's going to stick around here all the way through the end of next week as our highs are only in the teens, overnight lows near zero, possibly even below, because when we have so much snow on the ground, especially not just around here, but all the way up through the Midwest, all the way up into Canada, when that cold air comes down, it doesn't warm up. So it's going to lock us into the cold here. We're going to be in the deep freeze for the entire 7-day forecast, and maybe not until after that we actually start to warm up, Mike.
Yeah, this is going to be some prolonged cold. We haven't really had this much cold air that sticks around for this long in years around here. Sure, we've gotten cold. You know, last year, right around Martin Luther King Day, we had a couple days where wind chill values were 15 to 20 degrees below zero. But now we're talking about this consistently over the next couple of weeks. So right now, the major impact is the snow. We are going to see the roads becoming very difficult to drive on tomorrow. And ODOT all across the state of Ohio is working hard, and we were told from ODOT spokesperson Matt Bruning this morning that there is not a salt shortage. So they do believe that there will be enough salt to go around the whole state, and that's great. But the one thing to notice, though, is if you start getting temperatures in the single digits and particularly below zero, the salt really isn't even that effective anymore. And the reason for that is because salt doesn't actually warm the snow up and melt it. What it does is it lowers the temperature needed to freeze it. So there's a temperature where even salt water will freeze, and that's roughly in the single digits to about zero. So at that point, there's really not any effective it's not an effective snow removal tool. So that snow is going to have to be pushed rather than lowering that freezing point with salt.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about just how long of time we have with this really locked into the cold.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's going to be something. I mean, it was nice, a few weeks ago we had 65 degrees on that Friday. We had record high temperatures, and winter's back in full force now. And as we are talking about this, winter storm and everything, for anyone watching us right now on 10 TV Plus, if you have any questions, we're going to go through this here for the next 20 minutes or so. And you can send those questions. All you have to do is text the number 614-460-3345. Again, the number is 614-460-3345. And we're going to be answering those questions here as we go through the next, again, 20 minutes. So first off, one of the questions that we had coming in, one from just last night, asking about Marion being added into that 8 to 12 inch range, which is now the case. And let me go back to that here. So really all of central Ohio, 8 to 12 inches plus. I still think there's a chance that we could see a couple places maybe closer to 6 to 8. But know that everyone that is watching right now in central and southern Ohio, I think it's a pretty safe bet, Mike, that at least 6 inches of accumulation is a high likelihood now.
Absolutely. And what we ended up doing with our forecast, just based on some of the model data and some of the numerical prediction, and even some of the observations that we were seeing out in Texas, Oklahoma, where the storm is right now, really gave us the confidence that we could see up to 12 inches in some of our northern zones that originally we were keeping closer to 8. Now, I do believe that we're still going to see a couple places, especially in the far north, like Bucyrus, maybe up towards Mansfield, Shelby, Marion, out towards Kenton and Lima, that yes, we might see the lower end, the 8 inches. But I think the big thing to really think about here is the impact from it. 12 inches and 10 inches or even 8 inches really isn't going to be a major difference in what we're going to experience out on the roads, because we're going to have to remove that snow regardless with a plow. And, well, maybe a little bit tomorrow, some salt while temperatures are in the 20s briefly. But after that, it's going to get very cold, so the salt won't be as effective. But either way, no matter where you live across central Ohio, it's going to be impactful, especially if you live in an area that might be a little bit more rural, where there's less density of snow plows, or you live in a larger city where it just takes longer to get to you. And we certainly want to thank all of our snow removal folks, whether they are public workers for ODOT or local municipalities, or the private snow removal folks as well, all doing very hard work to try to keep us safe through this storm. And it's going to be necessary, and because we're going to be looking at almost 30 hours of continuous snow, especially tomorrow morning and even through Sunday afternoon and evening. It is going to be a while before we can remove all the snow. I anticipate a lot of side streets, cul-de-sacs. A lot of those locations are going to be snow covered well into Monday. So this isn't going to be just over on Sunday. We're going to have a lot of lingering effects into next week as well. Not only that, but with the temperature dropping into the single digits on Monday and especially on Tuesday, that's just going to make it even harder to remove some of the snow. So it's going to take a while. I do believe we'll get our main roads back in better shape later on Monday, maybe even into Tuesday. But it's going to take a lot of extra effort with all this Arctic air that's been coming into our region. Yeah,
I mean, we're locked in for several days, and I mean, this is a lot of snow. We haven't seen a lot of snow like this in quite a while.
No.
I mean, of course, we had some snow back in December. We had some amounts of about 4 to 6 inches for most of the area. But this is, I mean, we're doubling this, if not maybe a little bit more. So it's going to take some time to clear it all out. Again, if you don't have to be on the road, if you don't have to do anything going into tonight and tomorrow, it's a good weekend to stay home, wait out the storm, stay inside, watch some good movies, football, of course, and the snow will clear out of here by Sunday night, but still give the plows some time to get the roads cleared here Sunday night into Monday morning, and then we can all kind of get back to normal here going into next week. Another question that just came in asking about whiteout conditions being a possibility. I would say yes, with just how heavy the snow is coming down. One thing I do want to emphasize, and we've talked about this, is it's not going to be a blizzard.
Right.
we are not talking about blizzard conditions by any means because we don't have the wind. Wind is the main component to create a blizzard. You need winds of 35 miles per hour or greater for a 3-hour period, leading to low visibility with that heavy snow. But we are going to see that low visibility. So it will, at least for a time, there is a chance with that heavy snow coming down, especially through Sunday morning, that I think we could see some whiteout conditions.
Absolutely.
Least briefly.
Yeah, and it's going to be, kind of coming into going where those heavier snow bands are too. So, we advise to avoid traveling even on our highways, or if you can at all. But let's say you do have to for some reason, emergency reason or work or something like that. You could be traveling along the highway, run into that whiteout, then it lessens a little bit, and then you run into whiteout again. The thing tomorrow is too, though, especially tomorrow morning. It's going to be, the snow is going to be so widespread. We're going to be looking at heavy snow from Bucyrus all the way down to Jackson. Like, this is our entire viewing region from Springfield all the way out to Zanesville and Cambridge, and certainly right here in the city as well.
Yeah, and of course here, but I mean, we've been talking about just the scope of the storm being such a large area. I'm going to go back to a couple of graphics here that really just kind of showcases that. I mean, especially this one. I mean, talking from a weather standpoint, and I feel like this is very interesting. When was the last time you saw a map like this?
Years.
I mean, years, yeah. It's been a long time. I remember back in 2021 when Texas got hit with that winter storm. There was ice, there was snow, and this is a similar situation to that where you see like a large part of Texas under a winter storm warning. But the fact that it's not just the South, it's all the way up into New England experiencing this winter storm. It's kind of wild.
It really is wild. I believe yesterday you said it was about 1,800 miles worth of winter storm.
Close to 2,000 miles stretching from New Mexico to New England.
Yeah.
And I just find that I mean, it doesn't happen that often.
No.
So it is just an impactful storm that's going to hit so many states, so many cities, and again, it's not just the snow, it's the ice too.
Exactly. And speaking of the ice, and I had a question yesterday where someone asked, well, how is this going to impact flights? Well, not only here in Columbus are we going to have issues, but if you want to fly anywhere in the pink or the purple, that's the ice storm warning. That's going to be even worse there. Atlanta is a major hub, probably the biggest in the country. So
yeah, world's busiest airport, a big Delta hub, Dallas, American Airlines hub, they're going to be affected. And it's not even just like commercial traffic, but deliveries. FedEx, based out of Memphis, that's their main hub for FedEx flights. They're getting snow right now. There's likely going to be some delays with packages being delivered. And yeah, just a lot of disruptions, I think, for the next several days in terms of travel conditions and really everything across the country.
Absolutely. So something to keep in mind if you knew someone who had a flight to come into town tomorrow, or maybe you were heading out on vacation tomorrow. I don't know. You're going to have to check with your carrier, which we were doing all this morning over on the TV side of things. Yeah,
I know a couple of people were asking about, when to fly out and stuff. And I'm like, well, if you had a flight today, likely fine. Anyone flying today, not really many issues, at least around here. Of course, areas that are getting hit by the winter storm right now being affected. Dallas already has some delays, probably some cancellations. I know ahead of the storm, some airports already canceling flights going into tomorrow. So it's going to cause a lot of problems here. And looking at things right now, I mean, we can already see the scale of the storm here with that area of low pressure right now into West Texas. And look at all the moisture just feeding into this storm system, overriding that cold air. So as the moisture overrides the cold air, initially there's still enough warm air that we're getting that ice, that freezing rain. But then you get further north where it's pretty much all cold, and it's going to be snow. Into Arkansas, Tennessee, again, Memphis getting some heavy snow that stretches up to St. Louis, and all of this is heading our way here to Ohio, and likely going to be, I mean, it's going to be snowing in less than 12 hours, and once it starts snowing, it's going to continue for, I'd say, a good 24 hours, really, with this big winter storm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of the impact as well, is just how long it's going to be. It's going to be our entire Sunday.
Yeah.
So if we're going to see a lot of church cancellations tomorrow, a lot of people opting to attend services virtually tomorrow, or those who have some sort of sports whether it's middle school, high school, or club. We're going to see a lot of cancellations with that tomorrow. So you're going to want to stick with us all day tomorrow. We're going to have full team coverage throughout the storm all day Sunday. We'll be tracking road conditions, the current progress of the storm, and we'll be even tracking school closings and delays as we head into Monday and potentially even Tuesday because of how enhanced this cold air is going to be. And like Aaron mentioned earlier, right now we don't have a snowpack in central Ohio. So even though it's very cold, we have wind chill values reaching down to -10 in some spots this morning. With that snowpack providing a path for all that Arctic air to glide right across it once it falls, that's going to be amplified, and we're really going to see that cold air become a problem for us once all this snow lays down on top of us heading into next week. But taking a live look at the scope of this, I mean, we have snow falling from St. Louis to Kansas City, all of Missouri, even some heavy snow bands across Tennessee, which is rare for them. Memphis, Tennessee getting some good snowfall rates, pretty rare there. Some of that even creeping into northern Alabama and Mississippi, where that could turn to an icy situation for some of those cities. So they will be dealing with a much worse brunt of it with a power outage threat. Thankfully here, our power outage threat is low because the snow will be fluffy and we don't have a whole lot of wind just yet. But the center of the storm is all the way out here, New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, and the precipitation is all ahead of it. Some rain down to the south, that won't be a problem there. But all of this cold air is interacting with the moisture and making it a big snow event for us, and really a good portion of the country.
And one of the good things, I don't want to say good things about the storm is, because it's not a good storm, it's going to be a very impactful storm, but we're not seeing a lot of wind. I mean, there's going to be some wind, but it's not going to be a full-fledged blizzard like we've had in the past. I know a lot of people on social media have been talking about today's date, I believe, or tomorrow, the 24th into the 25th. 1978.
Yes.
The big blizzard that hit Indiana and Ohio with heavy snowfall, winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour. It's not going to be that. It's going to be, honestly, it could, in some areas, could be a little bit more snowfall, but winds are going to be 5, 15, maybe a couple gusts up to near 20, but overall, it's going to lead to some issues with the wind and some blowing and drifting snow, but really not a blizzard at all.
No, not at all. And some of the areas that will see that are probably your rural areas, especially the flat rural areas that are north and west of Columbus, where blowing snow is typically a problem. And what that's also going to do is enhance the wind chill a little bit. We're looking at some of those spots that are going to see wind chill values 10 degrees below zero for a little while longer. And that's this winter storm severity index kind of takes into effect. We are still expecting major impacts. So we're talking roads that are going to be in some places impassable, but off to the west where we have that flatter land, maybe less buildings and trees blocking some of that. Sure, blowing and drifting snow. But like Aaron said, this is not a blizzard of 78. We're going to have a lot of snow. But we're not going to have ice. We're not going to have a lot of wind, just enough in some of those flat, treeless, buildingless areas that might be the bigger deal. Should I go ahead and walk the folks through hour by hour? Do we have any questions?
Nothing coming in right now. Again, if you have any questions, you can text the number 614-460-3345. One question that we did have just recently was more asking again about the whiteout conditions that we kind of answered, and the difference between blizzard, and basically it just comes down to the wind being the component. You need the wind for the blizzard. You can still have a whiteout if that snow is just heavy, the big flakes coming down that could lead to whiteout conditions, at least for a time. But when you talk about blizzard, you need the wind.
Absolutely. In fact, it's got to be pretty gusty wind too, up to about 35 miles per hour, and specifically for 3 hours. So there's some very by the book criteria for what we call a blizzard. But that said, this is still going to be pretty tough for some of us to navigate through. So why don't I walk you through the snow progression hour by hour. Here's 5 p.m. We're not really seeing much snow just yet. Sunset tonight is right around 5:41. So that means right as the daylight starts to go away, that's when we're going to start to see some light snow. So here's 7 p.m. It's getting dark, and the light snow is falling. Not a huge impact yet. You should be able to get out and about despite the cold until a little bit later in the evening. But here is 10 p.m. We're starting to see more moderate snowfall rates. That's the deeper color here on the hour-by-hour forecast. And then after midnight, it really starts to take over pretty much the whole Buckeye State, at least through most of our 10 TV viewing area at this point. Then overnight, we're seeing these deeper blues come in. That's the snow getting heavier and heavier from Mansfield all the way down to Piketon, from Springfield to Mount Vernon to Zanesville. Pretty much everywhere this snow is going to be falling. And it's going to be cold, so cold air typically makes the snow a little bit fluffier and lighter, so it'll be easier to use a snowblower and maybe a shovel, but there's going to be so much of it that it still will be a rather difficult snow removal process to navigate. Here's 7 a.m. A lot of folks typically at this hour may be waking up, either going to work or church or some sort of religious function. Tomorrow, this might be one to stay inside and watch a service online, or if you have remote work or any sort of thing like, excuse me, like that on Sunday. Because this will be some of the heaviest snowfall rates from about 7 a.m. still through 10 o'clock in the morning, and still those deep blues through the afternoon. In fact, 7 p.m. Sunday, so now we're more than 24 hours in. We're still looking at light to moderate snow, finally tapering off by 10 o'clock Sunday night, and then maybe a few flurries Sunday night into Monday morning. So for Monday morning's commute, we might even see a little bit of sun, maybe a couple flurries in some spots off to the east. So I don't expect active snow for Monday morning's commute, but the problem is we may not have all the roads clear by then. Main roads might be passable. They might not be completely clear, but they might be compacted and passable enough that you can at least get through on the main roads. But those residential roads are going to be very treacherous. So because it's just going to take so much time and so much area to cover. Our ODOT crews do a fantastic job. Local crews, private crews, all doing good work. But we're also looking at salt not being very effective with temperatures in the single digits on Monday morning. So it's going to be all pushing it out of the way. It takes time. It takes effort. We'll get there, but Monday morning could be a very slow go across central Ohio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we're talking about how much snowfall, again, we're expecting about 6 to 12 inches still. I mean, you can see the map there. Look for your city on the map. We have 8 to 12 inches for areas really north of I-70, south of I-70. I think there will still be some places that maybe get 10, 11 inches even, but we are expecting a more widespread potential for more than a foot of snowfall. And we're not talking about amounts getting up to, 16 or 17 inches. This is going to be around 12, 13, I think is a pretty safe bet for many of those locations. But that's heavy snow. So it's going to take some time to really get the roads cleared, get them in better shape. And one thing that, of course, as people are, driving, and that's going to lead to some compaction, getting that kind of packed down onto the roads, of course, but the plows are going to be out clearing the roads and everything. And one thing I just kind of want to mention about the snow itself is it's going to be that really fluffy snow,
right,
kind of powdery snow in a way. So easier to shovel than a heavy wet snow.
Not good snowman snow.
Not good snowman
unfortunately.
snow. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of air in it, so it's not gonna be able to compact to make snowballs, snowmen. Unfortunately for kids that enjoy the snow days, it's gonna be more of a one that you would do for some winter activities.
Sure.
I feel like snowboarding, skiing.
Perfect for that.
Snowshoeing.
If you can get there, that's the problem.
And if you can get there. So a few days from now, once roads are in better shape and everything, we will be looking pretty good. But one thing I do want to mention, though, here before we go, we're going to wrap this up in about a minute. We are going to have extended coverage here on 10 TV Plus really throughout the weekend, and that's going to be starting later on this afternoon. We're going to have more live updates. We have our full team in here going to be tracking this winter storm for you as we go through this evening, tonight, and really throughout the day on Sunday as we get the brunt of this winter storm. So you can download the 10 TV app on your phone. You can also download it on your TV. Watch for free. We're going to, again, have live updates. And one thing that we ask from you is if you have any photos, any videos of the snow, once it's coming down, any pictures that you want to send here tomorrow, you can always send them to us here at 10 TV. We appreciate everything that you do send to us just to have a better idea of how this storm is impacting your community. It tells us what's happening. Again, we can see as meteorologists what's happening on the radar, but we also do appreciate what you are seeing there at home in your town and in your community. So again, we're going to have live updates all afternoon through the evening, through tonight, and into the day on Sunday.